One season ends, March begins. The system doesn't change, but the stakes do. 2 programs, 2 levels, 1 system, and this month,
everything starts.
Welcome to 3 over 2 Hoops. I'm Coach Jessica DeLiba.
I'm Coach Bob Belf, and we would like to introduce you to the system.
Welcome back to 3 over 2 Hoops. I'm Coach Jessica DeLiba.
I'm Coach Bob Belf. We have reached that point, the best part of the entire year. This is where it matters, where the rubber hits the road, right?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
I don't know if I'd use that
Well,
slogan, but
in our case, unfortunately, didn't quite finish. So one of the things we want to cover here is we would like to get into, as the season ends, talk about a few things that happened. Talk about where you're going right now as you approach the state tournament, and just kind of look back and evaluate, is it what we expected? I think that's also a very interesting question. Is it what you thought would happen? So let's start. You're part of our program at OCC, so let's start there. In your view, we finished 6-21. We should not have finished that, in my opinion, but it was the limitations of some things that we could do. So just wrap it up overall. What did you say happened? How did you view the entire season? In a nutshell, the whole thing.
I think we had a lot of games that were close, or like we had spurts of us doing really great things, and then it's like there was a quarter where we weren't doing what we were supposed to. It's like we almost couldn't put a full game together.
And I'm not sure we did all year long, actually put a full 40-minute effort together.
Yeah, like even our second to last game, we can get into it. Like, we shot incredible. Hit 11 threes in the first half. And then it's like we got up, I think the score was 30-4 in the first quarter.
We went out of the quarter 34-5.
Oh, 34-5, even higher.
Exactly.
So it's like we did that, and then the other team just kept chipping away. We ended up winning that game at the end, but it got way too close that it was supposed to. It's like we couldn't keep that pace going.
I felt, if you start talking from when we hit practice in October to the end, that we made huge strides. Like, we improved drastically. But to what end? In other words, our improvement got us the next position out of the playoffs.
Right.
So we still weren't in the top 5 in our conference. So we still weren't at the level that we needed to compete with. We were competitive most of the time in our games, but what was also interesting is we always had those lapses, like you were saying, and they seemed to derive simply with energy, and that always came with our ineffectiveness on offense. Yeah. That our energy waned because we could not score the ball, couldn't get the ball where we wanted, that type of thing.
Instead of getting excited about getting a turnover, getting a good trap, they threw it out of bounds. It's like that didn't energize us enough to get us over the hump.
Exactly, and you could see us, for lack of a better term, pout and then get excited and then pout and then get excited. So we would continually do that up and down all game long, and so there was never a maintain of effort, a maintain of mentality that we're going to here to compete. It was always result based, and it never really clicked in that regard. I think from an effort standpoint, I think from a buy-in standpoint, I never had a question of that. Those kids played as hard as they could all the time, but that extra drive was always based on, did I score the ball? And so then it also came back, and this is something I think that shows, as a coach, we feel it, but I don't know if we're always putting the right finger on it. It looks selfish at times because we're trying to make up for what didn't happen. And I can't say that was always the case, but it feels that way. Like, here, I'll save us with this 6-point jump shot, which doesn't exist as far as I know. But anyway, so I think that was what we were trying to iron out all the time. I felt that from a standpoint of, with coach's help, we killed the weight room for the most part. We did a really nice job in our skill development, which I thought was totally on you. You did a great job of that. And I really saw a lot of improvement in a lot of players. All of our players really got better.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the objective is to win.
Correct. And I think that
it's great they got better, and then our freshmen are going to be sophomores, which is great, but it's like...
Now you lost the continuity of it at this level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that overall, I think overall you're pleased with what you went in. You went to battle every time. To me, as a coach, we reached points where we were tired, and that's simply depth. Because we're trying to play 40 minutes with 10 or 11 kids, that we did have way too many games where we were missing a body, and that hurt. But you can't play it with 10 kids and expect to maintain 40 minutes at the level you want. And so that also leads to those wanes where you don't shoot it well. Does it come back to your point guard's understanding that you're into a shift a minute 10, minute 20, and we're shooting threes? Yes. Yeah. Recognition of we're got no legs left, all those type of things. But that's all trying to teach them as they play this and try to learn what we're going.
So then what would you, going into next year, I guess, from a JUCO perspective, I guess, what would you do to adjust next year? Because obviously it's not just, throw it away. I mean, are you not going to run the system anymore because you went 6-21?
No, we're going to get better at it.
Okay.
And we're going to... my first objective is to get more depth. B, my objective is to get better ball handlers and then better shooters. I still think an Achilles heel for us, and we're going to talk about this with your team as well, is rebounding. But I do think that when we project out what I've got to do, we got to handle the basketball much better so we can play faster. We have to shoot the basketball much better so we can press better, and then worry about rebounding with if we can find a couple kids to help us in that department. So that's kind of like as my look at my list. I know we're going to have probably 5 returning for this year's team, and that means to go where I want with depth, I need to bring in at least 10. And so that's a tough objective right there, is to get 10 kids every year. Yeah. Kids, they come and go, but we'll see what happens with that. Yeah. We are not going to stop running the system. As a matter of fact, we're going to get better at it. So
then what else would you say that you learned from this season?
Wow, that's kind of interesting. I learned that I have to do a better job of creating things offensively. We got very stagnant in what we were doing offensively. We have 1 or 2 things we would do instead of 6 or 7 things that we could do. I think that I need to do a better job of spreading the floor. I felt that we were way too 5-on-5 all year long. That also leads back to I need to get better talent. I need to find more kids that fit what we want to do. It wouldn't hurt that if the kid was 6 foot instead of 5'4", but you're finding kids that can shoot. Sometimes that's not your choice. I think just refining our game is just as important as anything else. Just making sure that we're better at what we do. And that to me is on me too. I don't know if I really taught certain things as well as I should have. But we're also limited in the second semester as to how much practice time we can actually accomplish because injuries at our level are devastating. And we had way too many of that. 2 years ago, we had more than we had this year. But we still had too many kids that didn't get to practice or were doing other things and are limited to what they can accomplish. So depth.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway. Well, we can transfer over to...
Let's go into your group.
Yeah.
So let's take what you accomplished and where you are. You finished the season winning your conference, your league.
Our league, yep.
Okay.
So we won the OAA Oakland Athletic Association White League. So it goes red, white, blue, gold, kind of like the American flag. So next year, hopefully, we went 10-0 in our league. So hopefully next year we will be granted to play up in the red division.
And then overall,
overall, we finished 16 wins and 6 losses.
Which is a huge marketable step since last year you won
6 games and lost 16. So we literally flip-flopped to the...
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. With only one senior.
Yes, only
That's a
one senior.
Nice situation there. All right. So you finished there. You are now rated very highly in how many points a game? Where are you with points?
Yes, we finished at 76.1 points per game. I would have to double check where we are nationally at this point. It is March 1st, by the way. Happy March 1st. But I'm sure we're still in the top. I don't know many high school.
No, for a girls program to putting up over 70 and averaging over 70 is impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we want to talk about where you're going and what's going on, let's talk about specifically. She wrote some stuff on a board for me, but I want to take that question right there. As you head to the districts, what do you think is the biggest thing you need to do to improve to get yourself a longer run here in this? All right, so let me explain. In Michigan, we have what we call districts. Indiana calls them sectionals. Ohio calls them something else. So as we go through this, your district then is basically your area schools, which tends to be your league.
Couple teams from your league.
And an area school that is a private school. And then she'll play. The district is laid out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but it is seeded. So you got the top seed, and that means you get a bye into Wednesday's game.
Yep.
Okay, so now
So
you
we play Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right, but you'll get the bye into Wednesday.
Yep.
So going into Wednesday, and then on Friday, you're going to play opponents that you've already played, probably, and have already handled. So how do you mentally look at that? First of all, how do you attack that right now?
Well, I think the biggest part is I think a lot of teams and coaches like to change stuff up at the end of a season, or, oh, we got to change this because everyone scouted this. And then all of a sudden there's a bunch of coaches that are putting in brand new presses, brand new plays, brand new this. And yeah, it's brand new for the other teams, but it's brand new for your kids too.
Brand new confusion.
Yes. So even before I ran the system, I was very big on let's sharpen what you already have. So for us, it's about tightening the things that, whether it's looking at games where we were beat, even games that were close, even games that we won, because I think a big thing that I was saying to my coaches and my players this week is making shots masks a lot of errors that you're making on the court. It hides it. And I think when you play a very good team or a ranked opponent, everything is almost put on a spotlight. It's ooh, we weren't doing that in the last 3 games either, but because the opponent was weaker. So I think it's about, even if you're playing a weaker opponent, staying true to what we're supposed to be doing, setting the screens in the right spots, rebounding, going up the court where we're supposed to be going up, all the internal rules that we've been working on. It's sharpening it, because you can do a lot of things if you're up 20. You can just stand there with the ball and you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It'll still look good. It's about making sure that what we're doing now will also prepare us for after.
Okay, you talked about good teams, and you're going to potentially play in regionals against the number 3 team in the state, and then probably the number 10 team in the state, give or take.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to your 6 losses. Those losses expose certain things along the way.
They do.
Okay, you started the first 2 games of the year against really strong opponents, and I felt that you did a really nice job of evaluating that, and maybe you and I sat and talked a lot about it, but I think right now you evaluated that and you went on a 10-game winning streak.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as you get a little bit further into the season, how do you feel those opponents that have beaten you in the last 3 weeks stick out to you as to what you are learning, what you can do? Is it the same thing you just said?
I would say it's different errors than at the beginning of this season, because at the beginning of the season, we were still learning what we're supposed to even be doing. Now, I think it's coming down to very little things, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that these teams think they're doing something when they beat us, and it's really our errors. That's the crazy part of the whole thing. It's I haven't seen anything that has per se beat us. Like the other team might think, oh, we broke the press really well because we did XYZ, we did 3-up, we did 4-up, like all these different things you see. I mean, we've seen literally everything at this point. So it's like,
if you haven't, we at OCC see a lot of interesting stuff.
So it's like, and I'm sure you guys out there that are running the system have seen different things as well. So it's like, it's really coming down to very, very specific things, like when we should be shooting a 3, maybe when we should be attacking the basket. Like, it's almost actually decision making. Like, okay, she just hit one. Why aren't we finding her for another one? But like, you're coming up and shooting it. Like, we just watched film today. That was something I pointed out today. So it's like, it's very technical right now as to what we're reviewing.
But it's system maturity.
Yeah.
It's understanding how it makes it just a little better. You're dead right at the beginning. At the beginning of the year, you're learning how to do what you're doing. You don't really, when you played Livonia Stevenson, the first game, they specifically said this is how they beat the press, because we ran into that coach a couple weeks later when we were recruiting. And it didn't even faze you because that wasn't your concern that night.
No.
You could have cared less how they beat you. But then when you look back at it, you're like, okay, so if we played them again, which is a possibility,
For sure.
that you're now prepared for what they're doing. Somebody else did it against you as the year went on, and you handled it much better.
Yeah.
But sometimes you look into the rearview mirror going, oh yeah, they did do that. I should, yeah.
And I would add, a lot of it is like little adjustments, and we're planning to put a podcast together about like the final 2 minutes of a game. And one of the things that I think we can branch off in that as well is like, when the game is close, coaches have to adjust and players have to adjust as well. Because yeah, it's great, what we're supposed to be doing, or our plan of attack was this, but it might have to change based on what's happening. And it's like, if your team if everyone's not on the same page, the whole thing falls apart. Like, all 5 players have to be on the same page, and then the next 5 that come in. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think from a standpoint, let's take it this way. If you were to say, when you lose in the tournament, wherever that is, okay, unless you win a state championship, congratulations. But if you lose, what do you think will be the thing that you'll walk away going, we couldn't stop them here, we couldn't do anything about this?
Honestly, I don't think it would be because of the other team. I think it would be because we didn't do something right or well. Like, because there's been games where we shot 11% this year and we still won the game. So you can't, like teams can't hope that, oh, we'll just have a bad shooting night, because we've proven we can shoot poorly and still win. It's about making those adjustments. Like, I genuinely believe it will have to be our errors that have us lose.
It's interesting, of all the things we talk about, and when we start at the beginning and how you should do this and what you should get into, I hear from too many coaches who, we don't have the personnel for this, or this doesn't work for us, or we can't do this. And reality, you're doing it with 9, okay, right now at the high school level, which is, I mean, you can get 10 or 11 in, and you do, but you're doing it with 9 when it matters. But it's you. It's commitment to what you're doing and your kids taking care of what they have to do at each end of the floor and running it the best they can. And is that going to be perfect? No, of course not. There's no goalie in this sport, so yeah, we score. But I think a lot of times coaches look at it like, I can't do this, we can't run that, we're no good at this. Yeah, there are things. Okay, if you don't have a point guard that can dribble, yeah, okay, you're got some problems. You can adjust, you can do some things. Coach Smith used to run some things where he didn't have a point guard, but that's a college level. That's a little different. I think there are limitations, but I think when you have personnel, it's on you. It's like, we're going for it because we can do this.
Yeah,
and I agree. I agree with you, by the way.
And I appreciate that. Wow. Well, ChatGPT also told us that we agree too much. That the audience would love to see a little bit of not agreeing, right? But I think that's kind of like, I think we've set ourselves up though for this. Like the proper things were done at the beginning of the season last year to prepare and get us to now, and the funny thing is like a lot of it is, of course, you have to stay healthy. Huge thing. I mean, we play every other day pretty much from here on out. Even regionals is Monday game, Tuesday practice, Wednesday regional finals, and then the following week it's Tuesday, and then Friday, Saturday is the championship. Yeah, or Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Saturday, something like that.
Class A, I think it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Okay.
So yeah, you're boom,
it's
boom,
like
boom.
every other day
Right.
you're playing. So it's
taking to
staying
Cedar
healthy
Point
and-
on the next Saturday. There.
But yeah, I mean, it's staying healthy. It's sticking true to what you're good at. It's like, and then your players have to buy in. Like they, as much as it's like cliche, like they have to want to win. They have to want to get the job done. Like, are you just going for a league title or are you going for a state championship? Like, I think that is a big conversation that has to be had with your team.
We can argue about that one in some respects. All kids want to do certain things. Their capabilities of doing them are another.
But some of them don't know what it takes to get there.
I totally agree with that.
Like
our focus,
the sacrifice, the focus, the commitment,
right,
all that stuff.
Locking in on this. Your kids are locked in that respect. They play this well. They run this hard. Their response to certain things not going well is usually pretty good. Mm-hmm. They still do some very kid things that, you're like, really? I thought you were older than that. But I think from the standpoint of you have some people to fall back on now that is a much wider base of falling back than when you started. It was all on one kid when you started the season. Now it's probably 4.
Yeah.
And that's kind of nice that you can spread that a little bit and see what people are going to do. All right, let's go another route. Because we only got a couple seconds here left. What did you see against you this year that just jumped out at you like, ooh, we got to be better at that, or we might see that again, and we got to go there?
I would say a couple things pop into my head when you ask that, but I would say, to be honest, I think it's the adjustments on the fly, because most of these coaches start their press break a certain way and then they change it. They're like, ooh, that's not working for us. Yeah, like, and they might have repped that the whole game, but it's like, okay, it'll go through a couple times and it takes a second. I think just noticing the adjustment, switching it quick on our end, and sticking to it.
Again, just maturity of understanding and reading what's going on.
Yeah, because the coaches have changed things on us throughout the game, and I think that's been just like our level of response to it.
No, and that's improved as the year went on.
Yeah.
All right, so you head into this week. I don't know if we're going to get another broadcast before you finish the season. Okay, hopefully we do, but if not, I wish you the best, because we're excited about an opportunity to go sit up at Michigan State and it might be at Western Michigan, right?
We'll see.
But we'd like to have that problem of going to sit there and watch you play. That would be great. I think from that standpoint, anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. I think if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, I don't know what you guys are doing.
Where you been?
Yeah. So leave us a comment, like and subscribe, and we'll get back soon for more.
Well, back when she wins the state championship, we'll be doing that episode.
I like that. Okay. See you then.